Has he been treated harshly? I think he probably has. Actually, I think he's probably been a bit of a victim of what's happened. I know that he's the guy that takes the most stick because the wages he's on, but I've got a funny feeling, Jammer, that Ineos have come in and they've looked at the wages he's on. You look at what they've done. They're trying to cut costs all over Manchester United. I understand why, but they're penny pinching all over the place. I think they've looked at him and gone, do you know what? We're paying him north of £350,000 a week. Let's get him off the wage bill. I think that may well be, and I'm not so sure that Amorim's got too much control over the future.
He pretends he does, though.
Well, I don't know what
he pretends that it's in his, everything that his decisions are him based. But, I don't agree on a lot of things with you. But I think this Rashford situation...
What do you mean? We're agreeing quite a lot, don't we?
But this Rashford situation, I think you spot on. Because when Amorim came in, Rashford was kind of on fire. At one stage, it was 3 and 4, and we think he'd be the main guy go-to. And then all of a sudden, it's not like anyone else is playing better or everyone's playing amazing. I think the only standout so far is Diallo Ahmad, who's came in and done really well.
He's been outrageous.
Anthony is still Anthony. Garnacho is, I'd say, he's just, hit and miss. So for them to turn to Rashford and not even give him the...
him a little
bit. Well, of course, because he's not in the squad for this game, Boxing Day.
You just told me that, but 10 minutes
so
before we come on air,
that's 4 in a row. What has he done that other players, I won't say haven't or have done better, to warrant him not being in the squad 4 games in a row?
He did come out in the press and made a statement saying that his future probably lies elsewhere. He's got a number of years still left in his contract. He's a problem to Manchester United because, 1, who's going to take the wages? 2, who's going to pay the fee that they're going to want? So there's a bit of an issue there for everyone. Marcus Rashford can sit there and say, okay, fine. You want to put me in the squad? I've got no control over that. All I can do is control what I do when I'm playing on the pitch, which looks like from what I've seen, he's done nothing, as you said, done nothing wrong other than make that statement in the press. So there's a bit of a standoff now. Amorim's got to deal with this. If you remember, under Ten Hag, had a very similar situation with Ronaldo. Didn't he? And there's that ended up with the player moving. Rashford will have to leave at some stage. What United don't want to do is be paying him the thick end of £1 million, well over £1 million a month, and then be sitting in the stands.
Yeah, that's a terrible business, especially when Ineos is trying to cut back on money. Quitting parties, wages, food, staff, all of this. But then you've got a player who can produce, who can. Be probably one of your better players, but not performing at the minute, then just sitting there getting over £1 million a month.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation. Personally, I feel that marriage has come to its conclusion, and it's the best for both parties if they split. But how does that work, and what does it look like? 03717223344. Now, Gemma, as we know, you're a big Liverpool fan. You boys sit proud at the top of the table. Crushed Spurs at the weekend.
Oh, give them a pounding.
6-3. I gave Jamie Horror a pounding last night. But
good.
The news that's come out of Arsenal is that Saka is out for probably around about 8 to 10 weeks.
That's a lot of games. Over this period, that's a lot of games.
It is a lot of games. Yeah, what are you thinking right now? Make a noise for me. How you're feeling about the title? Just a noise. How you feeling about it?
Ooh.
Yeah, I get that.
That's how I'm feeling.
Yeah, I get that. That's
juicy.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not over. Of course, it's not.
No. Long way to go. But
you're in the box seat.
Oh, driving seats.
Yes.
Driving seats. The next couple of this Christmas period is going to be vital as well. If we can either maintain or push ahead a little bit further, then you're going to come to 19 game. That's the halfway mark. Then you're looking. You can see the light at the end of that tunnel.
Remarkably, Chelsea are second. Who are you more concerned about, Chelsea or Arsenal?
Because this is a kind of new territory for Chelsea, and they keep saying, "Oh, we're not in the race. We're taking it game by game." Fair play to them, and they're doing well. I just think Arsenal are equipped. They've been here the last 2 seasons, and I think the ones I'm worried about, because I can see Chelsea going, when they play away, they can slip up. Like, draw at Everton. It's not easy going, but these kind of teams, they sometimes look like they will slip up there.
Yeah, we're not ready right now, but I think Arsenal are that team to go and crack on. But this does change things for Arsenal.
Yes.
Saka being out, there's no doubt about that. Can they cope? Yes, they've got good players. Sterling is also out injured, but it does feel as though if they are going to dip into the transfer market, January can't come quick enough for Arsenal. Do you think they will?
With the injury of Saka and the left-hand side that they keep complaining with, see, the January is a risky window.
Isn't it? It's a tricky one.
It's a really tricky one, but I think with the injury with Saka, they may look to try and strengthen in the attacking areas.
It feels like they do need someone out there anyway. I know Sterling took Sterling on loan, but it's not really happened for him.
It's not happened for him, hence why Chelsea probably let him go.
Yeah,
you don't let star players go. Maresca saw something that I felt right. He's not the same Sterling at Man City or at Liverpool it once was. So they've chose to let a big player go like that, and for now he's right to do so.
Yeah, indeed. 03717223344. We also want to take your calls on all things Christmas. I also want to talk about your controversial Christmas behaviour. And I'm not talking about getting drunk, right? That's too simplistic. Are we? We are. Maybe? No, we're not. I want to talk about things you do on Christmas Day that no one else does. Things that you might consider norm. Other people don't. 03717223344. And also your last minute Christmas present ideas. Phone up, speak to myself and Jam, and we'll ease the pain. We'll guide you through the troubled waters that you only have now around about. Some of most shops shut about 5:30. So you're talking about an hour and 15 minutes here, gang, all right? 03717223344. Before we go to break, we cannot go any further without talking about Spurs, Jammer.
Yeah.
Postecoglou's come in for some more clog.
Yeah.
Got beat up at the weekend badly. He was a little bit punchy himself when it come to answering to the press. These next 3 or 4 games for Spurs are enormous, aren't they? They're away at Forest, by the way, and that, all of a sudden, it's where Spurs should be or want to be.
Yeah.
It's where you thought Forest should be, and they've outperforming. Have you talked about managers of the season so far? You talk about Slot, Maresca, and Nuno. Yeah,
they're the 3 that will be in the conversation. For sure. And Forest have been definitely the surprise package. Almost relegated one stage, and now they're in the Champions League spot. But Spurs, like I said, they've conceded 13 goals in 3 games.
Ugh,
that is
ugly.
That is very ugly.
Ugly.
And
it's just who we are, mate.
It's just who we are, mate. So, and he's come under criticism from the press because if you're doing the same things and getting the same results, the press are going to start asking questions. So why don't you change it then? But he's stubborn. He wants his way in. And yes, they've won games playing his style of football. But there comes a time and place when you got great opposition against you that you have to tweak. Because you can't just go around thinking that you're going to get results against the big boys playing that style of football. You have to have a bit of nuance and change a little bit.
Gemma, do you know what? It was Liverpool's 3rd goal that was the most baffling for me because Spurs have got the way they set up fine. They managed somehow to get themselves back into a game that they should have been out of sight Liverpool, and they weren't. At 2-1 going at half-time, the managerial talk from both sides is very different.
Yeah.
Ange Postecoglou is going to say, listen, we got away with one here, right? Yeah. We're back in the game.
Yeah.
Slot, you can imagine what Slot's team talk is like. Boys, we've got to be more clinical. Right? Keep doing what we're doing because there's nothing to change. And then they get the 3rd goal just for half-time, 2 or 3 minutes after the Spurs get there first, and the game changes again. That, for me, is it's unforgivable. It's unforgivable to see it the way that they did. And that is why he keeps getting asked the same questions.
Yeah. All he needed to do, I'm no manager, but I'm not stupid at the same time.
Well, you've been in the dressing room. You know what goes, the conversation
and all you do is 2-1. We've from out of nowhere got back into this back into this game. We have knocked the wins out of Liverpool's sail with getting this goal. Because we was nowhere near it.
Again.
Yeah. So now if we go into half time 2-1, they're going to be in there going, knowing that's a 1 goal advantage is a tricky game, tricky scoreline. So just for the next 4 or 5 minutes. Let's just keep it tight.
I know.
But then that, like you said, that 3rd goal literally killed the game. Liverpool came back on, their tails up, came out second up, bosh.
That was the goal that won the game, that one.
Yeah.
That was the game, the goal that really changed for everyone. 03717223344. Coming up, we'll be taking your calls on all your last-minute Christmas shopping ideas. If you haven't got anything in your head, phone me, phone Jammer, and we will get you out the hole that you're in.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.